So, do you condemn the shooting of Charlie Kirk?
A lot of people have been asking this question, and I want to say that I don't condemn Charlie Kirk's death, but I'm also not saying that I'm not condemning. Like, I don't care to even acknowledge Charlie Kirk, just the character he was. He was a person who preached bigotry. That's like saying if black people should condemn the death of a white supremacist. What type of question is that, right? What about
Yeah.
you?
I definitely agree, to be honest. I feel like, first of all, it's really hard to condemn something that he basically fostered around himself. And especially, I know we're going to touch on this a lot later, but to like witness his events and to see kind of his lackluster security and just like it was not properly prepared for at all, especially to be doing it for so long. What is it, like 12 years?
Especially preaching hate speech. Okay, so my question about hate speech is when does a conversation or a speech or just someone talking becomes hate speech? How far can a speech go for it to be considered hate speech?
I think when you're activating people to basically act on whatever impulses, these negative impulses that hurt other people. So, for example, with hate speech against, we'll say, immigrants, and then you have an influx of people who are judging people on the basis of their skin, not knowing whether they're an immigrant or not, and attacking them.
Well, I think because I do agree, but I think hate speech is a little more because a lot of people do think that hate speech just has to be them saying that there has to be action, that has to be
Well,
to
no,
it.
I'm not saying physically.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
saying if you are like, because even with racism, you don't have to physically like beat up black people every single day, be
Well,
racist to black people.
yeah. So no. So what I mean is like when someone has hate speech, it's like I consider hate speech along the lines of like giving information towards an individual that's gonna criminalize them without it being a fact, or even if it's a fact or not. So more than likely it's not. But like just trying to push a narrative on a certain group to push your group. I think that in itself is hate speech. And like in a way, like and I guess
But what if you were going up, like, say it's like campaigning and it's like two competitors and they're giving out information on one? For example, like with the previous Kamala versus Trump, and they're each trying to get a leg up on each other, so they're
well,
throwing their jabs.
there was hate speech in there.
No, absolutely.
Hate speech would have to be in by a particular group. It would have to be towards a particular group. If you say that, for instance, Kamala Harris isn't smart, that isn't hate speech. That's just, well, you could call it even bullying if you want to. But going towards black people isn't smart would be considered hate speech, in my opinion. And so my question is, um, we have the First Amendment right. So do you think that the First Amendment right protects hate speech? Or do you think it should protect hate speech?
So I feel like it really shouldn't protect hate speech because right now we're witnessing that free speech to the extremities can also foster the proper environment for terrorism.
So I can see why you say that, but that's like a slippery slope because that means we have to like focus on people's speeches now, and we would have to government people's speeches, which can be dangerous because then certain information will go out.
But I think it's more so like, for example, how Trump is trying to go over Antifa, and there's not actually like a leader of Antifa, so you can't really, because there are no organized group. Like you said, if it's like an organized area of a person who has a dangerous ideology, I think that's a lot more easier to pinpoint than to say like, oh, someone's walking down the street, they said something.
I agree. I think ideologies can be considered hatred, and I think maybe that can be like disclosed. But I think like the First Amendment does protect hate speech.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, because at this point, if anyone, because even Donald Trump, he can determine what considered hate speech if he can control enough people.
And he is definitely someone who has
Right.
been at the forefront of hate speech.
Shit, this nigga trying to take people licenses away, media licenses away if they talk shit about him. But guess what? We don't have a media license. Fuck you, Donald.
Right.
Like we can
Fuck
do
you.
that.
Very
Like,
true.
stop playing. But guys, we actually have. Do you have any questions you want to ask?
Honestly, I guess one thing I would say is, do you feel like people who are pushing for empathy have a valid foothold to stand on?
Empathy for the death of Charlie Kirk?
Yes.
No, they fuck no. Hell no. You can sit there and condemn the death of Charlie Kirk, but to say that you need empathy for the death of Charlie Kirk, that's where I will have to draw the line.
I would
This
agree with
man,
that.
go
I
ahead,
think
yeah.
in any time that you're trying to push how you feel and other people to feel the same, first of all, it's very ingenuine. I think people are going to feel differently, and I think that's completely normal, especially for someone as controversial as Charlie Kirk, who, I mean, he was a major perpetrator of hate speech
For
for a very
what?
long time.
To black people, trans people, Muslims, like immigrants in general, anyone that's considered a minority, he thought less than. So yeah, when we talk about empathy, Charlie Kirk would not be in that conversation.
I absolutely agree. He didn't believe in it.
No. But we actually got more on the way, guys. Thank you so much for watching episode 6. Drop the motherfucking intro. Yo, welcome back to the Simple Black Theory podcast. I'm your host, Ohaji Free.
And I'm your host, Maya Moss.
I love you, baby.
I love you more.
Listen, I've been trying to make us be called Mayo because her name is Maya and my name is Ohaji. Mayo for Mayo. Yo, if you guys like that, put that in the hashtags. If we get enough of that, we have to call ourselves Mayo.
We absolutely can.
Okay, whatever. Guys, we actually have a great show today. Before we get into it, guys, thank you so much. A lot of people have been hitting us up and been saying, hey, we need this podcast to come back. You know how I've been feeling. I've been wanting better equipment for this podcast, but we can't let them wait, right?
Exactly. We could definitely. And here's the thing, too. I feel like it was a double-edged sword because, me personally, I've been advocating for us to just drop anyway. I feel like that stuff is going to come. You guys have already gotten to see us grow from being with a blank space to actually having a space out here, which, welcome to our living space.
Mayo Studios. But other than that, guys, check us out and on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And then also check us out on Spotify at Simple Black Theory Podcast. It will be great for you guys to subscribe, check us out, and make sure we grow because we're going to talk about some real shit. I also want to say that since the Charlie Kirk death, I've been really thinking about the idea of what is considered a radical left, like a far left individual. And I realized that we don't really have much far left creators. Like we think we do, and we ask, well, what you think? And they say these things, but I don't think they're really far left. I think far left will really mean like you are not transphobic, you're not homophobic, you don't stand for those things, you don't stand for racism. And when you talk to people, you realize that they kind of stand for some of these things.
And I think too that also a lot of the lingo and slang and language and rhetoric that we have, it can also kind of foster some of those things without being cognizant of it. And it's a very slippery slope. You have to be very aware at all times of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hear something and it's like, I know you did not mean it that way. Truly, you know what I mean? But
you gotta check your privilege. And that's why I think when someone say I'm a communist and they think that's automatically far left, you're fucking crazy. No, that doesn't make you far left. That makes you further from a liberal.
Right.
That makes you on the left, and that makes you further push on the left. But I don't consider you far left because just because you're communist doesn't mean you won't be transphobic, racist, Islamophobic.
Very true.
Like you can still be all these things. If you're all these things, you're closer to being a fucking a right winger than a far leftist.
Exactly.
And people don't understand that. But and that's what I wanted to talk about because I actually want to push more far left rhetoric. I actually want to be considered a far left individual.
So with that being said, what do you consider far left?
Zero prison system gone completely. Like if you believe the prison system should still be here, then you're not a far leftist. The prison system should be gone. The police system should be gone. All these things should be gone. I think when we talk about transphobia, trans people should be able to be who the fuck they want to be. Furries, leave them the fuck alone. Right? These things are considered far left, and these things should be considered the leftist views, but it's not. People will tell you it is. I did a video, there's an individual. I don't know if this individual is trans. I don't know their pronouns. They just look very ambiguous, right? But people wanted to attack this individual, assuming they're trans, talking about, is this a he? Is this a she? Why the fuck does that matter?
Right.
But they're considered leftists. Get the fuck out of here.
No facts.
But
and I think even too, like certain times and points, certain like trends that get popular on any social media platforms can kind of be rooted in certain things. Like, for example, feeling like people who are 30 or whatever age, people think that 20 is old now. But to make that a point of a joke, or I think it was like some creator named Crazy K was coming at Sky Jackson, making fun of her domestic violence and trying to use that as a punchline. And I was just like, where are we at right now?
Right. And you know what I think? I think being a far leftist is going to be harder than being far right or far left. I keep saying far leftist, far left. But because being far right, all you got to do is engage in the things that right people believe in and just be more extreme with it. While being left, you have to practice these things and actually have to acknowledge these things. Because when you're in the left side, you're against the norm. And the norm is very hard to be against sometimes. So that's what you have to practice, being a far leftist. And people don't practice it. They just spit rhetoric assuming that they are that.
And I think it's like also really important to highlight the intersectionality that goes within it all, because that's another thing that I feel like is almost being demonized within the right, is the fact that, the woke minded, because we care for so many people and we don't want you to be assaulting people on the basis of what they identify with or who they are.
Yeah. And people on both sides do that, which is crazy. That's why I think the right side is so strong, because the rhetoric is embedded in both sides. The other side just has to learn to redact from that. But whatever. Today's episode is primarily talking about Charlie Kirk, the conditions of how life has been after Charlie Kirk has died. Not saying that Charlie Kirk has changed our lives as much. Politically, yeah, he did in a technically way. But we got to talk about the assassination in itself.
Right.
Can you give me a quick overview of the assassination? I'll jump in every now and then, but
yeah,
you can do it.
Absolutely. So September 10th of this year, 2025.
Yeah.
Of course, Charlie Kirk hosts Prove Me Wrong, and typically he's on a big stage. There's thousands of college students that are
I'm gonna say 100. I think they be lying sometimes, maybe like that. Because when we went, and we're gonna talk about our experience.
Yeah, facts.
Was it thousands? Like
facts. At most 1,000.
At most. But 1, continue. Because on the internet, online 3,000. You're gassing it. But no, go ahead.
Facts. But what I will say is, it's definitely an influx of students. It typically gets really crowded in towards like a couple minutes in. I know it was 20 minutes in. He had been speaking a really, I guess at that time, kind of calm conversation. I mean, he's an aggressive speaker in his rhetoric, but it wasn't anything that he was going against the person who was debating him.
Yeah, I think it was on gun violence.
Right.
And irony.
Right. Because initially the person was asking like, how many people in the last year or a couple years have been trans shooters? And he didn't know the answer. So, or he did know the answer and they both said 5. So then he asked, so what about for the last, this year to such and such year, how many do you think have been
mass shootings?
Yeah, like mass shooters. Like, what have they been? And he's like counting gang violence. Immediately after that, he's shot. So from that point, it's like mass hysteria. All we're seeing on the news is a replay of him getting carried off from his, where he was shot, which was underneath his little Prove Me Wrong tent, and being pulled off into his SUV to go to the hospital. So at this point, the internet went into chaos. Immediately.
You have to pause right there, because I have to just highlight this man's last words was a racist euphemism, a racist dog whistle on black people in gun violence.
Right.
And it was a white man that took his life.
Right.
Fucking crazy. If God is real, he loves to play games.
Listen, one woman gave her spiritual analysis, and it was actually really interesting because she was talking about how essentially Charlie Kirk used all of his, talents through speaking and through speech.
He was a good speaker. No cap.
And the same way that he came up is the same way that he fell down, and that the shooter essentially cut off his speaking piece and that he could no longer continue with that rhetoric, which is honestly insane. And to even think about, because my initial thought was for someone, because they were saying he was like, what, 200 yards or something, 200 feet?
Well, yeah, 200 or 400. They've been moving
Right,
that.
moving the number.
Oh, I'll say 200. Yeah.
But for anyone to shoot from that distance, mind you, you're outside. It's not a controlled environment. You have wind. And you have to be pretty trained to utilize a weapon in order to successfully do it. We've seen the unsuccessful attempts on Donald Trump. So it just goes to show that you really do have to be knowledgeable in order to be successful. So he had that familiarity with the weapon.
Yeah, because, and what's funny is, and I'm sorry to interrupt, because you're saying that just proves how bad that Utah's gun laws were. Because this 22-year-old was able to learn how to use this weapon, not by the military, but because Utah was okay with children handling guns at a young age. This man was born with a pistol in his hand.
Right. And mind you, before the shooting, he had the rifle stuffed under his clothing. So they have footage of him from, home, what is it? The fucking Google Home cameras, the Ring doorbells from house to house, and you see him limping across the neighborhood because he has a weapon underneath his clothing.
And whose weapon was that?
His dad's, because he was texting and he was like his grandfather's.
Yep.
Because he was texting and he was saying like, oh, I have to make sure I get it back to him. Like I know he's gonna be pissed.
Over 77% of mass shootings are with legal guns. So they're obtaining these guns legally, but that means if we had stricter gun laws, wouldn't it have been harder for them to obtain it?
Right.
Like, it's just crazy to understand that, but continue. I think we're at the part where the internet went crazy when we noticed he was shot.
So immediately the internet goes crazy. Now, the biggest thing that we can say, like pattern-wise, that you can see is the left and the right erupting into sheer chaos, war, blaming, like whoever and whatever information that they can get up on the shooter to pin it on each other, which ironically almost dehumanizes the event in itself.
It does.
Because the focus is no longer, let's do this to get justice. We're thinking, let's do this so that we can finally vindicate the other side and prove to them that the other one is wrong.
Mm-hmm. It's so crazy because it's like, so the real problem at the end of the day is gun issues, mental health issues. Because
we talked about this too.
We literally talked about conflict and how conflict causes problems. So, and that's so crazy how all this goes into one circle. But into that, because we know that the shooter was really into internet culture, which I think we're gonna get a little bit into that. It does get a little complicated when you do talk about it, but it just shows that how mental health and gun issues is the biggest culprit. But nobody wants to acknowledge that. The left is focused on making this individual seem like a white ringer, which I'm gonna be honest with you, there's no way you can convince me that. There's no way you can convince me, who's a leftist, that this individual wasn't a leftist. I think he was a leftist. I think he went in a wrong pipeline and he got into the wrong connections when it came to left-wing acknowledgement. Because you know what he fought for? Hey, protect your peoples, dog. The fuck? Charlie Kirk said some crazy shit. At the end of the day, and I'm sorry, I know I'm talking a lot.
No, you're fine.
I said this before. People keep saying that it was the left's rhetoric, and I take that back, that he went on the wrong pipeline. People say that it was the left's rhetoric that caused him to be radicalized. But what they're not going to say it was the right's rhetoric that caused him to want to be radicalized.
Right.
Like, fucking crazy. I'm sorry.
Because at the end of the day, when you look at the text messages, he was mentioning that he was tired of what Charlie Kirk was pushing. He was saying, I can't listen to anymore. I can't have him spread this type of stuff to people anymore. And it's because people really do get that desperate for the kind of hate that comes after. Because we have to look at, for example, when Trump first got elected in his first term, and I think we talked about this also in the gun violence episode, but there was a rise in Asian hate, immigrant hate, Black people. Like, it was insane. And he was always spurring this nonsense, and it all it does is divide. It's not united at all whatsoever.
No. So, you know what? And I'm glad you said that. It's really shining a light in all of this, right? Like, and the thing is, like, Charlie Kirk, which is honestly a poetic thing that happened to him, because now he is now the poster kid for gun violence. The man that said that he is okay with a few gun deaths for us to have our Second Amendment. And people sit here and try to change it up because originally he was talking about how like, oh, we have to have our guns to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government. Okay, guy. So why can't we have reduction in weapons though? Why can't we have gun safety? We don't have to have, we can still protect ourselves from a tyrannical government, but let's be honest, the government that we have is going to be even stronger than the people, no matter what weapons we have.
Right.
The weapons they're selling you are civilian grade weapons. They don't give you the military grade. So you're either telling the people that you have to illegally obtain these guns that the military has, because that's the only way we'll shut down the tyrannical government. Exactly. How many niggas got bazookas? I'm sorry.
Or even like weapons that, like, for example, I just can't see the rationality in having weapons that you can't even, for example, things that are like built into the ground, like something that's so steady that you would have to take it apart to transport it somewhere else to use it and set it up just to shoot it. Like, that is just not rational.
Like,
it's almost like, to be honest, and there will be flack with this, but fast cars, if you can only go so fast, why do we continue to sell these like insanely sporty cars and then push more deaths by cars and drunk drivers, etc.? Because people get these egos and they just don't want to slow down.
That's so true. So, and you know what? And we're not going to sit here and say that, oh, there's no way the government is going to be taken down because of the weapons. No, we're not saying that. First of all, I'm a big believer in do what you have to do until we get the stuff that we need to get done. I'm saying the stuff that we have now, we focus on trying to complete, and until we get the right equipment, the right stuff, that's what we can do what we have to do to take over the government, right? If it means taking it over politically wise, if it means taking it over socially, no matter what it means, we need to do that as a group of people. But so us saying that, oh, they have better weapons, so it's just going to be hard to take over a tyrannical government. But what we are saying is that if that's your reasoning, that's a dumb reason.
But I feel like even before that, I think it's so much easier to build a culture of information, pure information without the bias, without trying to mislead you and manipulate. I think it's super important for us to build a strong foundation of community. Because for a point in time with, like, for example, the Jimmy Kimmel situation, there were people online between the left and the right who were united saying, you know what, this is our First Amendment speech, and no matter what side we're on, we don't support this. And there comes a point where it can't be left versus right. It needs to be, we're coming together so that we can get what we deserve out of the government. And maybe other people might not agree that we need to completely abolish the system and reinvent it. But that's when we start working with that community and trying to work with them and explain this is why we need that change.
The thing is, it's the money. It's because I agree, right? This is like the Jimmy Kimmel situation is probably a minute agreement that the right and left have. And it's not even a strong agreement, right? It's not even a lot of right people agreeing with the left. Because obviously it's based on the left's viewpoint. But even then, the reason why we don't have so many people agreeing at the same time is because we have people that makes the most money that benefits from the divide, right? I'm not going to sit here and keep saying it's the president's fault, it's the president's fault, but obviously there's influence from the president, and the president, we have the president now because of the influence of the right. And if this influence is gaining something from the divide, they're going to continue this divide. I said this multiple times. If we look at Charlie Kirk's rhetoric in 2019, and we look at his rhetoric now in 2025, it's completely different. Before then, like right now, if you go online and you look for videos of Charlie Kirk saying things that sounds good, they're going to be as far back as probably 2019. But now they get more radical in 2025. Why? Because there's more money. There's more benefit in this. His rhetoric and Donald Trump's rhetoric is guided in the Great Replacement. The idea that white people are being replaced by black people, Muslim people, trans people, gay people, and other minorities.
But he spent time also cultivating a rhetoric to tie
people in. And that's why
in.
I definitely agree with your idea was like, we have to focus on building information. Once information is built, then we can build off of that. And that's why I was watching this video. I was gonna lie and say read. I was watching this video, and this video was mentioning how the Donald Trump administration is focused on trying to dismantle things that contradict what they're saying. So think tanks are doing research papers on this, and we're using research papers to deny what Donald Trump is saying. How do we stop that? We remove all the knowledge that the left can get so the right can have more knowledge to give.
Right.
So it's fucking crazy. So when the death of Charlie Kirk happens, they lost their billboard. They lost their moneymaker. They lost their biggest mouthpiece to the youth.
Exactly. And that's what it is that Charlie Kirk was a great manipulator of information.
Yes.
He was extremely successful, and he built up a fan club. And that's why I believe they're continuing to host his show.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. They want to make sure it keeps going because they know it was successful. So now they want to make sure they can warm everybody up into seeing new faces onto the show.
Bro, facts. Yo, let's continue with the story because we definitely got to talk about what the internet. We've been talking about what the internet been saying. We got to talk about how the trial, not the trial, but how the case has started and all that. So right now the internet's going crazy and the left and right's going crazy. What happens next?
All right, so left and right is going crazy. We're learning information piece by piece, but the FBI is doing a terrible job with the situation, okay? Kash Patel, he was appointed by Trump, and honestly, he cannot get his face out of his ass. He really can't, because tell me why. They've arrested 2 guys now. They've released both of them, but also released their information before they'd realized this wasn't the right person. Because, of course, Kash Patel is the same person who sits in important meetings and tweets everything out while it's being released.
Our leaders, we love them.
Right. So at this point, these people are in danger. I mean, you have people who are literally freaking out on the right who are saying, we are Charlie Kirk. We lived through him. We're going to keep his dream alive. They're shouting, trying to rally up, cause mass chaos, saying we're going to try to get whoever did this. So you're releasing the information, then releasing these people out on the street. And half the people who are on the right side don't even believe in the news. So you already know they're going to take some of what they hear and then be like, oh, I'm still going to find them. They're lying. Okay, beautiful. So this happens.
Yo, I'm sorry. That with Kash Patel, first of all, I think he had a hearing with the Senate and House, and they dragged his ass through the fucking
So bad.
mud. Like, and Kash Patel in this Epstein situation is fucking funny, bro. Like, they kept asking the question, did you talk to Donald Trump about the Epstein? And somewhere in that conversation, he's like, I haven't talked to Donald Trump about this, which is fucking weird because Donald Trump's name is on there. You're lying, bro.
Right.
Like, that just automatically shows that you're a Trump supporter more than you're a U.S. citizen to me, guy.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? I just wanted to add that shit. Fuck Kash Patel. I hope he watches this, which more than likely he's not.
You never know.
Or you never know. I hope you watch this, Kash.
Right.
He's fucking gonna believe we gotta investigate that nigga. But yeah. But I'm sorry. Because I know, so we're talking about Kash Patel fucking up. I know in the internet, a lot of people was doing that I am Charlie Kirk,
Right.
and they were going to Starbucks and ordering
Charlie Kirk.
the Charlie Kirk, which apparently is a drink that you take when you
your
feel
throat is like
someone's
sore.
been yapping too much. That's what it is. But that's funny, bro. And people have been lying about what's been on the Charlie Kirk. Like someone wrote "loser" on their own cup, which just shows what type of person you are if you calling yourself a loser.
Right. Literally, yeah. Someone literally came to the internet and was like, oh, I went to Starbucks to get the Charlie Kirk drink, and they put Charlie Loser. And then Starbucks, the reputable company that they are, they go and check the
Fuck
cameras.
Starbucks, though.
Right, fuck them. But they go and check the camera, and they're like, no, we didn't write loser. That when it left, it never said loser.
Like,
so
you guys trying to start shit.
he went home and wrote loser himself. Beautiful, beautiful. Again, misinformation.
Bro, like this is fucking crazy.
But I do want to add, because the left and the right were in mass chaos, and so at some point, a lot of videos were going crazy about Charlie Kirk. Obviously, not in support of Charlie Kirk, but not really celebrating his death. I don't think anyone was like, yes, finally, shot. Maybe some people were happy that he wouldn't be spitting that rhetoric anymore. But I don't think anyone or majority of people were genuinely like, oh, it has finally happened.
Facts, yeah.
Like, come on.
That's crazy.
But the thing that was crazy to me is someone or some group on the right decides to then make a website, the Charlie Kirk Murderers. So now they're stalking people on the internet. I made a couple of videos, which, mind you, they weren't even doing well at the time. And someone was commenting like, I'm going to send this to your employer. So that's what the website was basically about. They wanted to take the people who were saying things about Charlie Kirk that was gaining traction, even if only a little bit, to send the information in. They had about over 20,000 submissions according to the website, and their goal was to fire them. And since then, they've transitioned the website into a data collecting company.
Oh my gosh, bro! And you know what? It's funny because that's clever how they did it, and it just shows that the right knows how to lie and how to like go against the law, bro. Like what? Like that's very
to
clever,
dox
but
people?
yeah, that's
to do all of this to dox people.
Yeah, to dox people on their opinions. First Amendment right. It's crazy. Charlie Kirk gets killed for his First Amendment right. So their response is to shut down our First Amendment right.
Just goes full circle there.
This is what movies are made of.
That's what I'm saying. It writes itself. And it's like, I was even mentioning to you earlier that when you would watch certain things like as a kid and you'd be like, oh, this would never happen. Like this is so obviously a villain. And then you sit here in real life and you're like, no, this would happen.
I'm glad you said that because amongst all this chaos, we're also learning that schools want to bring memoriams to the schools. The Senate and the House, Republicans and Democrats, it was bipartisan, motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck what Democrats say. And we're gonna get I got the names for the Democrats that did it. And guess what? I do videos on these Dems. So guess what? I'm exposing them. But Republicans and Democrats voted for a Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. First of all, I don't know how long it took Martin Luther King, but it took Dr. King a while. There was people protesting the teachings of Malcolm X and Dr. King in school. But we're supposed to have a day for Charlie Kirk, the same day that George Floyd was born.
But not even just that, because we have to think about this. Charlie Kirk was not a government worker. He was not on a government payroll.
He was a talking piece for one side. For one fucking side.
And I'm really over them trying to call him an activist because like if we're calling him an activist, we'd have to call Hitler an activist by the same logic.
No, not even Hitler. Because Charlie Kirk wasn't a Hitler, he was a Hitler supporter. Right? I'm not saying Charlie Kirk was a Hitler supporter, but if we have the comparable, like, so whoever, it was like the rich people that Hitler made chancellors and shit. Like those people would be Charlie Kirk. Those people would be considered activists in these people's eyes. The people that helped Hitler become Hitler is what Charlie Kirk is.
Right.
Like,
and I find it very interesting that you have to pay attention to how the news takes only one aspect of Charlie Kirk. They call him an activist, but they won't dare shed light on the things he would say.
Right.
How much have they posted about things that he's been saying on his Prove Me Wrong? Why are they not showing footage from his other Prove Me Wrongs?
You know, and I can't wait to talk about our experience, but they love saying that, oh, he was a bit controversial. There's a reason why he got attacked. There's a hit on him. It was more than controversial.
Right.
Like, and people, I wanted to say this. People are surprised that this happened to Charlie. I'm sorry, not surprised that this happened. So it was crazy. People are surprised. Right. But black people are surprised on how much people love Charlie Kirk. You don't realize what fucking world we live in?
I'm saying.
America. You literally sit here, these black people, we sit here, we talk about how fuck Donald Trump, how America is a racist country. And you're surprised that this nigga Charlie Kirk is having a day. Da loca.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and first and foremost, even with the Jimmy Kimmel situation and Disney and Hulu and the reaction to people wanting to cancel Disney and Hulu, then for the Republicans to try to pick it back up so that they still don't lose money. It's like, how far will you go for this?
Bro, first of all, I like the idea of taking money away from businesses when they fuck up. I just hate going back to them when they fucking fix it. I mean, yeah,
but that's my thing, though.
It's whatever.
Yeah, even then, but I feel like if you really want forgiveness, then you need to sit and acknowledge what happened. Like, yeah. I get so tired of hearing very similar things. Like, for example,
bringing Jimmy back is not enough.
First and foremost.
It's not enough.
I don't think that boycott now, firstly, now all of a sudden deciding to boycott Disney when we knew Disney had their ties in some bullshit.
Facts. We've been boycotted. Disney was not in our realm. As soon as we learned that Disney, first of all, not only did we learn that Disney supported Israel, we also learned that Disney supported Trump. And we was like, as soon as you learned about Israel, it was hands down.
What?
It just doubled down with Trump.
Well, yeah, Disney, I mean, because first of all, the city of Orlando has to funnel so much money because they love having Disney around. They make so much money off Disney. Bro. So they're going to protect Disney. And Disney's going to protect their own interests.
You know, so funny? Disney not even smart. I don't have a job at Disney. Disney not even smart. Disney knows Donald Trump is a fake-ass motherfucker, right? First of all, remember when Donald Trump and Disney was beefing? When Disney was like, we may have to move, I think, or some shit like that?
Yes.
Right. But Disney was the one that paid. Like, they were the top contributors to this nigga, bro.
Come on.
Like, Donald Trump is the type of nigga, it's like, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna help you out. But if there's someone who's gonna pay me more, or if there's an idea that's gonna help me better, it's fuck you. Why you think that he was okay with Israel bombing Qatar?
What? And he's an opportunist because he's very smart. You know what? I kept thinking. I literally kept sitting here and trying to wrap my mind around it when he was first getting elected and he got in and then he decided to, what is it? He helped out
who? Trump?
NBA YoungBoy. He helped out Kodak. And I'm sitting here thinking, why are you pardoning these people? Now it comes back full circle once again. This is what he needs. He returned on that investment.
You know what?
So quick.
He does this every time because now he did it for the colleges. He gave $500 million to the colleges, which is a big investment. It's a huge investment. I'm not gonna little down this shit. But why you think he's doing this?
Right.
Like, he took away $350 million in grants from Hispanic and minority kids in general. So it's not like we have enough kids going to school because 70% of college students that go to HBCUs are low-income students. And Donald Trump takes these grants to help these students.
Right.
So
because first of all, with an HBCU that's built around race, now gonna write an essay to get into this university without talking about race.
Bro. And then Donald Trump wants to control the curriculum. So you just gave, to me, that's blood money, right? That was blood money. The HBCUs took blood money because Donald Trump is like, here, we're giving you $500, but I swear to fucking God.
He wants his return. He's going to want his return.
If I hear CRT, you're done.
Come on now. That's warning shots. Yeah. Hush money.
Like, exactly.
And then for FAMU to elect someone who they didn't even want, okay, like I don't know who the board is that allowed this woman, I wish I remembered her name, but to allow them to elect a MAGA head who had no experience in the job. And this woman is asking for like nearly 3 times what the person that she just is the successor of took out of office.
What?
Yes.
Fucking bro. Bro, some of these institutions, some of these HBCUs, some of these black creators or even black thought people, they bend over one good time by the right, bro. They love that. They love that, bro. Stop playing with me, bro. That's why I love our genuine side. Like, we're having this conversation and this is so genuine and so real, and we're really having a good conversation and showing people that this shit's really fucked up. This is more than the political. Everything is politics, yes, but this is more than just think about it as political. These are people's lives.
Right.
And these people think I'm a far leftist because I don't vote. You voted for this. Like, I get it. I'm not gonna sit here
and that's what's crazy too. How can you say that you're on any side and you didn't vote? I don't consider you as anything if you didn't vote.
No, I'm not gonna sit here and say that Democrats are leftist ideology.
No. I know.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But to sit there and say that you didn't vote for anybody, you didn't even get up and go down to the poll and fight for your right,
bro,
any of your rights
that your people fought for. Like, don't get me wrong, bro. I understand that why you didn't vote because you feel me. The what's happening in Gaza, the Israel attack, and no matter who's going to be president, it's still gonna happen because the United States is owned by Israel. You think it's the other way around? Netanyahu is getting I'm not gonna go too far.
Right. But here's what I would say. To say that you're not voting because you don't want to be complicit to a system
that's already complicit.
You're being, so instead of being complicit, you're being complacent.
Yes. Like you're deciding not doing anything is the best thing for me. for the people that's going to suffer regardless. And it's so sad. Free Palestine. If I can do anything, bro, I wish I could take over this government myself, bro, and shut down Israel, shut down the factories in Sudan. I'm gonna say shut down the factories in Sudan. We gotta talk about that another day. But or are you feeling? But all these things is so tragic, and it hurts me because in one moment it's just like I understand why they're not voting, but another moment it's just like it didn't help anything.
Right, it's counterproductive.
Like you said, yeah, it was complacent, and we can't be complacent. Now we're having a holiday for a man that we shouldn't be having a holiday for because you allow a president to come through. And yes, fuck Donald Trump. This is more than Donald Trump. But Donald Trump is the primary suspect right now. Right. Everyone hates this nigga.
And it's
everyone on the left.
It's so beyond even like the Charlie Kirk situation because it's like now we have a president who's now infringed upon so many of our rights. When we look at education, public health, when we look like this goes into every spectrum. We look in government. We look at you can go down the line.
Right.
He's taking out. He's stripping. He's reconfiguring his own America, and it's his own white America, and he's using Christianity as a guise.
Literally, like we're not gonna sit here. It's because, in my opinion, I don't think Kamala Harris would have done anything great with Israel and Gaza. I don't think so.
Facts.
No president can. But
the infringement on our rights, I just
feel
like it wouldn't have been here.
Completely different, bro. We're completely different.
Especially to think that he's so lost in the sauce and his own agenda that he's not even trying to work with the groceries or the utilities that have just spiked up. You know what I mean?
Bro, utility. Yo,
I'm
loves
so pissed about
talking
these
about
utilities.
the utilities, bro. Hold on, I gotta make sure the thing is still going. People can still see this. Yeah. Oh, it is.
Okay, say that.
Sorry, guys. You have to make sure that the thing is still recording because sometimes we don't have enough space. Like I said, the equipment is a little bothersome.
Right.
But yeah, the utilities, they are high right now, and we're not even using technology that much or electricity.
I'm so thankful that it's like raining now. We're getting into our rainier season, into our colder season because the AC will not be running like this, and we might be able to save that $50 that we acquired randomly.
Like
same wattage use, $50 spike. Love that.
But let's continue the Charlie Kirk thing so we can get into our experience.
I was just gonna say that too. So to round off everything, because we ended with the internet erupted into chaos. Obviously, we had the Charlie Kirk murders. So after this point, everybody is now freaking out, trying to pinpoint how can we pin this on this other side? How can we pin this on the other side? Especially when we have the wrong person. So we finally got a picture of someone that we presumed to be the killer. At this point, I think the next day, the father had turned him in, or he had turned himself in.
And it wasn't us. It wasn't a nigga.
Right, but he gets turned in or whatever, and then they're like, okay, we can start figuring out some information. They start pulling out his phone information, whatever. Lo and behold, we end up, long story short, finding out that his roommate is transgender, which is relevant because that became a very large point in now trying to pinpoint, okay, so he had to be on the left, he had to be LGBTQ, all of this other stuff to try to push this onto the left and make it a leftist issue rather than mental health, gun safety, etc. And then
I have to mention this. They're trying to blame trans people for this, but the lover is very compliant with the police, doesn't know a thing about this, but you want to blame the trans community. This person is around their trans partner, and their trans partner has never said, we're going to plan to do this. This was on his own volition. But no, let's blame on the trans partner. You guys want to find something that's left in? Fuck y'all. Sorry.
And I just feel like at this point, it's all of the narratives that have been thrown around. It's just so hard to trust anything because, again, Kash Patel had released so much false and faulty information that now it's like, okay, we're supposed to believe this.
Right.
But there's, from the very beginning, before we even know who the actual shooter was, I just want to put this out, we were already saying, oh, it was a transgender person. We were already saying that they were on the left or the right.
You had to make a video on that, like, yeah. I was like, it may not even be true. It ended up being true, but still, like, y'all going too hasty with this. But Pam Bondi also said that if anyone is doing, like, hate speech on Charlie Kirk, you're getting prosecuted. man, everyone was like, shut your ass up.
What?
The
And
fuck
then
you talking about?
that also goes into, because again, how we mentioned that Charlie Kirk murders was trying to mass report people and tell their employers and
That's
their
legal.
professors. Well,
Right.
Florida's trying to make it legal. And that's the thing. Because Governor Ron DeSantis has once again failed us. So there's been a couple of teachers who it's been brought to the attention that they were not too sad about Charlie Kirk's passing. They were caught. So they had commented or something. One of them had been suspended. 3 of them are pending suspension. I haven't looked into the case recently, so I haven't gone to see if there's been any new solutions with it. But basically, what their goal is that they want to try to make it an issue if you even like a post talking about Charlie Kirk negatively.
So Ron DeSantis, Sabao.
Sabao.
Sabao you.
Sabao.
Sabao your mother. Sabao your wife, your mistress.
Sabao.
If no one knows what Sabao means, it's set your bitch ass up. All right, like, and you know what's so funny? I gotta mention this. You know, I recently learned what Sabao meant because, you know,
Facts.
I do TikTok and then I always read it like Sabao. I'm like, babe, what does Sabao mean? Because I'm like, that sounds like a compliment. Like, I'm
Right?
like, it's like, because before there was like senpai or some shit like that.
Senpai.
Senpai, right? So they were like, oh, thank you, senpai. And I was like, what the hell that is? That's an insult? They're like, no, senpai is like master or some shit, or like
Yeah,
teacher, right? So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm senpai, that's cool. And then they were like, sabao. I was like, sabao to you too, bro.
Same. I literally was like, yeah, kudos to you,
Like,
girl.
then you're like, no, that's such your bitch ass up. And I was like, I like every sabao I've been seeing lately, bro. Like, so now I know it's such your bitch ass up. So it's Ron DeSantis, sabao.
What? But that actually reminds me, because of like that little lingo or whatever that's been going around. It actually ties into the fact that the casings, what was written on the casings, was another big puzzle that everyone was trying to, all memes that they're trying to decode, which all ended up being kind of like gamer references, etc., which honestly makes it a little bit even more muddy to figure out which side that he's on, because a lot of these references are really popular with the alt-right and a lot of the like video games and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that the
up, down, right, or something like that.
Oh no, it's up, right, down. And
yes.
that's supposed to mean like a bomb.
Yeah, like an ultimate like 300 bomb or something.
And that's, oh bro, that's what happened to Charlie. Well, that's what the casing had.
Yeah.
That was used, I believe, on Charlie. Which, bro, like I said, Charlie's death in itself can be seen as a poetic thing. It's a poetry that sounds like a song. I mean, honest with you, but it's fucking crazy. A man that won the Second Right Amendment by any means necessary. By any means necessary,
it
happens.
Like a mythological story. That's
Bro,
what it sounds like.
We're making a modern day mythology.
No, it sounds like the guy who flew too close to the sun. Like
Okay, yeah. You can make it resemble, because people will be like, nah, it sounds like a spiritual awakening.
No,
sounds like a Christian reigning, like.
No, because you fell on your own sword cultivating this terrible, what is it, like rhetoric, throwing this hate speech and like literally mongering and pandering to people to cultivate literal madness that only ended up hurting you in the end.
Like, seriously.
But I will say, here's the thing again.
No, go ahead. I love this.
Because like condemning the shooting and everything is also super hard, because it's super hard because there were so many other people who were involved, and I feel like it's almost, again, too inconsiderate because so many other people bore witness or bared witness. How do you say that? They had to bear witness.
Yeah,
to
like
that shooting happening.
Seeing that they have to say that, right? Like, that's the sad part about it.
And you're a college student. You're gonna go past that area when you have to go to class. Like, it's not. That's a place you're going to all the time. Some people get traumatized and they don't have to go and sit. Like, you can get bit by a shark, but you don't have to go sit by the ocean every day. You know what I mean? But you're a college student.
Shit, facts. Yeah, I mean, if I get bit by a shark, I don't think I'll ever
go to the ocean again.
Go near the ocean again, yeah. We gotta talk about our experience.
Yes,
we gotta talk about our experience. Okay, so if you guys don't know, in April of this year, her and I actually was invited by the Unfuck America tour, which is a conversation on its
That's a video in its own.
Guys, let us know if you want us to really talk about the Unfuck America tour and the experience and the commotion about that. We would, but we're not gonna really talk about the Unfuck America tour in itself. But so we got invited to go to Texas to not just
College Station.
Right, College Station, Texas, to go to Texas A&M, I believe.
Yes.
I think it was Texas A&M.
Yes.
So,
A&M.
Right, so we got invited to College Station, Texas, to not only debate Charlie Kirk, but to also interact with the college students and to contradict his rhetoric.
Yeah, give another narrative.
Right, just the outside people. We had multiple people to come through. I know most the biggest ones are Dean and Parker. That's another conversation about them. That'll be part of the Fuck America tour. Whatever. We'll talk about that later, right?
Yeah.
So so we get invited, and obviously Charlie Kirk. We were there a few days ahead of time, but Charlie Kirk, you can go first. Like my mind is still running on what I want to say. I don't know what I want to say.
So here's what I'll say, because with the whole event, like essentially this was gonna be our first time actually getting to see like how Charlie Kirk's event worked in person. So going into it, I'm thinking that this is going to be something that's so like well secure, especially being in Texas. Yeah, very well organized, because being in Texas, you have to think like they don't have concealed carry, right?
Yeah, their gun laws are very lax.
They're very lax and chill.
We were more into noticing that than his team, apparently.
And I had a book bag at the time, so I was like already thinking I'd have eyes on me because I have a bag, but I mean, we were on a college campus, so everyone had a bag.
I'm sorry, because you're saying this, and it's just reminding me. I also have a bag, and my bag is fit for concealed carry.
Yeah, yours is more so of a, what is it called?
It's a satchel.
No, there's actually a word for it. It's like a gun. It's a bag for a gun.
Yeah.
Concealed carry bag.
Yeah, it's a concealed carry bag. And we literally said we shouldn't bring this bag because we don't want them to think
that there's a weapon in there.
That there's a weapon in there. We're going to attack this man. So our mindset was already thinking about his safety and our safety more than them, I guess.
Literally.
Sorry.
So we ended up getting to the campus, and first and foremost, everything was pretty open. There wasn't a lot of people there yet because he hadn't really even like started.
It took a while.
Yeah, it took a really long time. For some reason, I was thinking Texas was gonna blow up. Okay, it was a very conservative campus, mind you. So we get off, and we're just scoping out the scene, trying to figure out what's going on. I think Laura Trump or something was there.
Yes, I think it was the sister of Donald Trump.
Oh, really? I didn't know who she was.
Not of Donald Trump, of Donald Trump Jr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or the wife. One of them, it was either the wife of Donald Trump Jr. or the sister of Donald Trump Jr.
Right. So she was there, and again, it was very minimal security because there weren't even like police officers really there.
There was one cop by the stage.
I was just about to say
staring me down.
Like it really wasn't anything that was super heavy to where you could tell that they were like people behind buildings or like a highly technical skilled group that was trying to make sure that there was mitigation for any harm or
horribly organized
malice.
In my opinion. Now
I completely agree, because even I was getting kind of nervous being inside of the crowd, because once it did start crowding up again, because you have to think he's riling them up, he's throwing t-shirts to get the energy going, and everyone's already familiar with his rhetoric, so you got like people who want to stand in front of you to make a point to let you know, like,
that's true. I'm also thinking he didn't really care much, because he does this event, and one thing that he mentioned is that sometimes people, and he said this in the middle of it, I forgot because I think someone passed out, that it gets hot, and give some people space, and this happens in his events apparently a lot.
It happened like 3 times that day.
Exactly, and he continued and made sure, but it's like, if you know that this happens frequently, why don't you bring it inside?
Right.
You're getting death threats. People are fainting.
Right. At least I would say, like, for example, there's ways when you have a big open area to almost create like groupings for people to stand, so that it's not like 500 people in a bunch. It could be 200 here, 100 here, 300 here, all by barriers.
Yeah.
Just to set it up a little bit.
Nah, people were crunched up, bunched up. We got to mainly verbal assaults.
Yeah, we definitely did. And it was a lot of people pushing you, wanting to let you know, like, especially if they could tell that you didn't have the same rhetoric, they were definitely going to make sure they stood in front of you so that you could not see.
First of all, online keeps saying that Charlie Kirk was willing to let anyone hop in. If Charlie Kirk knew who you were, he was not gonna let you in. Like, and y'all can watch the video, because I debated with Charlie Kirk before, and we'll get into that. It's just so much things that's happening. But he didn't. Oh yeah, we can even talk about that. He didn't let none of the Unfuck America people debate him. It was like zero.
He led everybody on the Unfuck America tour to like First of all, an area that was behind a building to where he was not even
behind
at
his
anymore.
tent. He sent us behind his tent.
It wasn't even, I wouldn't even say behind.
Oh, yeah,
it was like
yeah,
it was
away.
in front of it, but behind the next building.
It wasn't even near the event.
That's what
we
I'm
had
saying.
to walk back. It took almost 30 minutes to get back to the event. I'm following this one creator. Should I say his name?
No.
Should I say his name? Fine. You're lucky. You're lucky. No, you're lucky. Right? So this one creator is telling me, he's like, yo, they're telling us come over here if you want to debate him. And I'm walking, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. He doesn't even want to debate Dean. Why would he give us a personal place to debate? And why are we going so far? We finally make it. It's everyone else at the event standing there.
Yes. And even on top of that, the line kept moving.
Yes. I'm not going to lie. Charlie Kirk definitely didn't want, first of all, it wasn't just Dean Charlie Kirk, because a lot of people, like, they've been on Dean's dick a lot. And people, oh, you're being insensitive. It's fucking true. I don't care. They've been on Dean's dick a lot. So even Unfuck America, the people that was running it was on Dean's dick a lot. Like, they advertised it.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure that everyone knew that, like, these were their headliners, was Dean and Parker. So that's, like, all that they really...
But when they advertised it and we talked about it, it's a little shaky. But they mentioned that it was us. They were the headliners, but we were going to be the people that's going to be set up to talk to them. Obviously, if Dean and Parker can, we're the ones that's going to be there to talk to them. But they didn't push that at all. The only reason why I was able, and I never told nobody this. This is why the podcast is fucking great. The only reason why I was able to talk to Charlie Kirk was I was the only one that waited.
And waited
for hours.
Hot. Listen, guys, it was so hot that for a long time, like the tan that I had in our first couple videos together was literally my tan from Tampa from April. We were out there for probably 8 hours, and Texas. I kid you not. Oh, what did I say, Tampa? I don't know why. Texas. We were out there outside in Texas for about 8 hours in that hot ass sun, okay?
Half of that was me waiting to talk to Charlie Kirk.
Literally. And then you spoke to him, and here's the thing. Charlie Kirk, because you have to understand this about how he organizes everything. What he does is he's going to try, this is one of two things. He's going to get your question. He wants you to just find the terms, and then he's going to see if he can create a loophole for you that you can't talk yourself out of. Now, if you can talk yourself out of that loophole, what he's going to do is now he's going to goalpost it, make you seem crazy, and kick you off. Now, here's the thing. That typically gets him a lot of people able to debate all the time. I even mentioned that you should go on live doing that structure well before I even know that that was the structure he works with. I said, get as many people debating as possible so that people don't get bored watching. And that's exactly what he does. But here's the thing. When Ohaji Freeman finally got his place up on that stage, mind you, I had to run to the front so that I can record. I'm in this crowd of like bigots and ridiculous ass fucking people.
Horrible. And
they sat and debated for nearly 20 minutes.
Almost 30. And I stopped it.
Yes.
It wasn't in his volition.
He walked away.
And you know what? I can sit here and ask anybody. I'm going to ask anybody. Give me a person that had a 20-minute debate with Charlie Kirk outside of a Jubilee video. Nobody can. Charlie Kirk wanted to continue to fight with me, verbally fight, tussle with me, because he felt like he wasn't able to bring his accuracy out or some shit. I checked that nigga, bro. I love every single minute of it.
Mind you, you have women in the crowd, because one of his points was about DEI and how having tampons in the restrooms is a DEI initiative because it helps women feel inclusive in the workplace so they don't have to walk 5 blocks or drive down to the nearest CVS to go pick up some tampons. Having that in your restroom would be a DEI initiative. All the women in the crowd, no, I buy my pads. I buy my pads. I don't want free nothing.
Shut your ass up, Karen.
The most counterintuitive people you could ever imagine in those crowds. And that's the type of thing that his rhetoric literally cultivates, creates.
You know, and people are going to think, oh, you're a mastermind. And we've talked about this. And that's why I say I'm a mastermind. I chose DEI as a conversation because I knew, first of all, that was Charlie Kirk's butter. During the time, especially when Donald Trump was president, DEI was the height of the conversation. So, and most of his viral videos during that time was based on DEI. He just had his Jubilee video, all that shit. So I was like, I have to approach DEI. I wanted to talk about race so bad, but I said DEI is the most important thing. And I wanted to talk about women with tampons. What I did not see coming was people booing me, which made it better. But I knew if I talked about this and Charlie Kirk didn't have enough, that it was going to be great content and show people that he didn't know what the fuck happened. And I showed that the hypocrisy. People were booing me about advocating free tampons for women. Talking about women's bodies was far worse than a man saying that trans people is a middle finger to God.
Mind you, people didn't even know what DEI was.
People didn't know what DEI was.
People are out there in the crowd. I'm sitting here debating with one girl behind me who's so hard trying to like argue you down in the fucking crowd. So I turned to her, I said, show me your evidence. Show me your evidence. She pulls up a website, right? This is her. It's right here. It's right here. I said, show it to me. No, you look it up.
No one knows this. This is why the podcast is great. And we don't have the footage because Charlie Kirk's team took it down. When we went to the Texas A&M thing, they went and interviewed you and a few other people that you met at Texas A&M. And I'm not gonna lie. I saw that and I was kind of worried. Because I'm thinking, this is why Charlie Kirk is one of a kind. I was thinking they're gonna Charlie Kirk this shit. But Charlie Kirk knows how to play.
They love to throw a spin.
They love to throw a spin. So I was getting worried because I'm like, I don't want them to get a you gotcha moment.
Right.
So I sat there and I wish, because I got it in the middle of the conversation, I wish I pulled my phone out and showed them. You cooked their ass. Can you please, do you remember what was being said? Bro, she cooked them. There's a reason why you don't see a video on her on Turning Point USA.
No, but it is very true. And towards the end, even the guy was just like, oh, what do you align yourself with? And I didn't give him anything to where at the end he was like, wow, you know, that was really good. And then one of the girls that I was with, yeah, he was asking if I was PR trained, whatever. But one of the girls was like, oh, like, are you going to use this footage? And he was like, no, we probably won't be able to use it.
Like, and they didn't.
They literally couldn't.
Bro.
There was nothing in there that they could have a gotcha moment about.
You know, I'm so glad we're doing this podcast. And I know I've been slacking on this. There's one thing that I've been so vocal in this house about, and I've never said this online or nothing, that Charlie Kirk knew who I was. I probably said this on a live or two, but Charlie Kirk knew who I was.
And he finally acknowledged it, I feel like.
I don't think he ever
did. He did, though. He said, you've said some nasty things about me online.
No, yeah. That was, you know what's so crazy? That was the first and only time he acknowledged it was the first time we met. Ever since then, he pretend I don't exist. But then I catch his TikTok watching my videos.
And that's the thing, though, because even in those moments, you have to understand the why behind why people do things. I feel like they expose themselves. Like, honestly, if you really want to figure out if someone is lying, all you have to do is let them talk.
Bro.
You just need to shut up. Because I kid you not, with those actions, you know that he kind of had to watch what you were doing and see what you were going to post. Your page was going crazy. I think people had went and tried to do an attack or something because they did not like that shit. Too. They did not like that shit.
The mans were watching. Apparently, they're saying this is not Charlie Kirk. This is Charlie Kirk's team. This might be Charlie Kirk's team.
But why would you guys watch them?
I'm pretty sure Charlie Kirk have access to his own fucking TikTok.
Now. And even then, why would Charlie Kirk's team be watching you?
Literally responding.
Right.
Bro, and then you get older millennial after we have our interaction.
Bro,
you watch our videos.
Loved that too. He tried to, I'm gonna be on Charlie Kirk's show
because of me,
Come on. And that's the only thing he's ever been on. And Charlie Kirk did not fly him out to go be there personally.
No.
They were on a video call. It was not that serious. Mind you, they're talking about the Unfuck America tour.
And
they really
DEI. Bro, you're talking about the Unfuck America tour that I was on. Most of my videos, my most viral videos is on older millennial.
Come on now.
Charlie Kirk got cooked by me. A couple days later, older millennial and Charlie Kirk meet up. That's not a civil black theory. Bro, I made you older. Gotta make sure this stays. I'm sorry. But people won't acknowledge that. And I never really come out and say these type of things out loud or to the point because I'm gonna say I'm humble because that's not humble. But I'm humble. Like, what the fuck?
But I think that's important too. Like, I feel like at the end of the day, I would feel more gratified knowing that someone wanted to hide the fact that they knew who the fuck I was. And he even slipped up and had mentioned it. Like, even that little, oh, you said nasty things about me online, so you've seen them. Good.
I'm not gonna lie, before he died, I always told myself, I'm gonna meet this man again. and he's going to know I'm not playing with him. And the shooter took that away. Do I care for it? I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I really care to meet him again. No, I don't really care to meet him again. But the shooter did take the opportunity away. And I would have loved to have the opportunity. But to be honest, bigotry is not my kind of thing. So if I got invited to the Charlie Kirk shit, what I went, it would have been crossed hairs. I would have had to talk to multiple people about that because I probably wouldn't.
So do you feel like, in a way, that's kind of one of the juxtapositions of the situation, is the fact that the free speech element was kind of
taken away? Yeah, honestly. I mean, it's making everything more volatile now if you really think about it. Huh?
Volatile?
Volatile? I think volatile is a word.
Volatile?
I'm Googling. You gonna Google it? All right, let me go on one little rant. What was the question again?
But do you think that that's like one of the, juxtapositions of the situation? Because at the same time, when you don't condemn it and you don't really care about it, but also you miss out on the opportunity, you still low-key missed out on that opportunity somehow.
But I was able to get that opportunity.
No, but you did, for
right,
sure.
So that's why it's not as much of a juxtaposition as I would, because I'm having this realization now. I had that opportunity.
Versatile or volatile?
Volatile. Type in volatile.
And this is volatile. It's not a word.
Let me Google it. Hold on. No, you go ahead and tell them something. I'm Googling it.
But honestly, again, so with the Charlie Kirk situation, right? Because
it's not a word. Self-serve.
Everything is in a frenzy. We kind of touched on the Jimmy Kimmel situation, but he was essentially, and a few other people, I mean, other, late night show hosts.
Donald Trump said worse.
But that's what I'm saying. And he didn't even attack Charlie Kirk. He was more so attacking Trump and the administration over anything else.
He was he was attacking the right side. He wasn't even attacking the Trump administration. Well, right. He probably was. But even then, right, you're so right. That was early on in the investigation when we didn't get much information on the shooter.
Exactly.
So it's like, and then they're trying to say that, Donald Trump had nothing to do with it. You hired the head of FCC, Carr, and Carr literally said, and Ted Cruz mentioned this like a mafioso boss. He looked at the camera and said, "We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. You choose." That's what he said.
What?
He said exactly. He said you choose part, but he said the easy way or the hard way.
But in reference to what?
Into Jimmy Kimmel and letting him being on air. He said, if you don't fix this Jimmy Kimmel shit, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. But people want to pretend that Donald Trump had nothing to do with it. You don't think Donald Trump called that nigga Carr and said, "Yo,
right,
we can do this the easy way, or is it gonna be the hard way?" Like,
absolutely agree. But I would say with like a lot of the things that have been happening, just like to, for example, we'll say Jimmy Kimmel, but also to Judge Hannah, I think it was Dugan, who got arrested prior for going against Trump, and to like a few other people, Elon Musk, who he turned his back on. Like, it just shows how he really is an emotional toddler in a grown man's body. And like you said earlier, it's kind of like you can't really ever call yourself his friend because he really doesn't have any friends.
Bro.
He can turn on you at any moment.
Literally. Whew, I think this is a great conversation. There was a lot said that I loved.
Yeah, same.
I think this is the best episode we got.
I think we say that every episode.
Hey, that's even better. Episode 6! Stop playing.
We did it. We kept going.
Guys, thank you so much. Remember to subscribe to this podcast. Remember to check us up on Spotify. We're trying to get other places. It's getting a little difficult, but we're working on it.
Comment down below.
Oh, yeah. Mayo. Hashtag Mayo, right? Comment down below.
Don't do it.
You can find me at Simple Black Theory on TikTok and Instagram. And you can find her at
Maya Rolling Stoner. I don't really. No. Maya Rolling Clouds. No more Maya Rolling Stoner. It's Maya Rolling Clouds everywhere.
So, I think that's it. Other than that, we still have to look at the outro, huh? This is our outro. Da 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 da.